Chelsea fans have started a No to Ricketts campaign as they do not want owners with the track record connected to the Ricketts family. Here is a letter from Brian Wolf, who is head of the Chelsea Chicago Supporters Clubs, who has outlined to the board of Chelsea that the Ricketts family, who of course own the Chicago Cubs, do not match the inclusive views of Chelsea Football Club, especially relating to the Black and ethnic minority groups, and of course the LGBTQ plus communities. Chelsea fans are asking that the club do not consider the bid from the Ricketts family. This is something I understand, and on a moral standpoint with me, I 110% get, and I absolutely fundamentally agree with. Chelsea supporters view the Ricketts family bid to purchase the club as universally disdained, owing to their political views and donations, and want it rejected. So let's remember for a moment what's actually happened there. Ricketts Sr., who's not actually involved in the bid, but of course the head of the family, some emails and some documentation has been revealed of him referring to Islam as a religion and Muslim people as being his enemy. Lots of derogatory things said about the religion of Islam. And of course, the family's connection to the Republicans, the family's connection to Donald Trump. And the overarching view that that isn't something that Chelsea fans want to be connected with. Of course, that the biggest issue there, the Islamophobia and the connection to the Republican Party. It's got to a point where, this is a friend of the show here, people like Slen, big Chelsea fan across social, says, I might cut ties if this family runs my club. And I think a lot of people would understand this. We have Simon Phillips here. Why isn't No to Ricketts trending? We need to trend this every day. I've just seen a report that says sections of the Chelsea fan page don't want them. Trust me, I don't know a single fan who wants them. Let's make ourselves even louder here. Do your bit. Again, completely and utterly understanding these takes and these views. Nazir Kinsella, one of the leading Chelsea journalists, says the Ricketts family who are trying to buy the club will seek to meet with the Chelsea Supporters Trust and Chelsea pitch owners should they reach the preferred bidder stage via the bank. It will be vital as the No to Ricketts bandwagon trends on Twitter. And I think what's very interesting to me is, Chelsea fans have rightfully taken this moral stance. They want their new owner to be as clean as possible, virtuous as possible, and to match their values. And I don't think this is something that anybody can disagree with. But there is this element here of maybe keeping your powder a little bit dry. And the reason I say that is because don't be surprised to see in the coming days and weeks information about other bidders, revelations about other bidders come to the fore. Now, for me, it's a real interesting thing because I don't think you're going to be able to get owners of football clubs anymore when we're talking about billions of pounds to buy clubs who are not politically exposed. In my old profession, in the private banking world, when you start moving into the ultra high net worth individuals, I'm not talking people or businesses worth 1 million or 3 million or 5 million. You're walking into that hundreds of millions, billions of pounds of wealth. These people are invariably politically exposed, whether it's through family connections, whether it's through donations, their own political opinions, whether it be running for office at times themselves, or whether it just be the country that they operate from. There is always the chance of these political connections being in place. And it does seem that the majority of the leading bidders or the names of bidders that we're aware of are all politically exposed in some way. And therefore, depending on your persuasion, depending upon your view of the world, there could be a morally reprehensible reason to not want these owners to come into your football club. The Ricketts family, I completely and utterly get, and I understand that there's a very interesting article in The Athletic that says whoever the next owners are, Chelsea will find it hard to keep politics out of the club. It goes on to say, it's no wonder then that Reign, Chelsea and the UK government have all indicated behind the scenes a desire to find a new owner who best safeguards the future of the club. The number one priority must be to take every possible measure to ensure there can be no repeat of the scenario where one of the world's most successful and valuable sports teams can suddenly be threatened with insolvency due to pentative actions it has done nothing to warrant. And we all obviously know about that being the case. But how do you ensure that? Because the Overton window is forever moving. What is acceptable today can be unacceptable tomorrow. How you make your money today can be unacceptable tomorrow in many people's eyes. Nobody was really batting an eyelid when Roman came in 2003. Of course, social media didn't exist, I think, in any capacity. I'm not even sure if YouTube had been launched in 2003. If so, it was only very, very young. Were people really aware? I certainly wasn't aware until a few weeks ago how Roman Abramovich made his money. You would probably never see a fan base accept an owner like Roman Abramovich anymore without there being a big pushback against it. But how far does this go? Of course, we know Woody Johnson, who is the owner of the New York Jets, has put a bid in to purchase Chelsea Football Club. He as an individual is heavily connected to the Republican Party in the United States of America. Okay, and as little more than a year removed from serving as the United States ambassador to the UK under Donald Trump. Department Inspector Generals have made inappropriate and insensitive comments that may have included references to religion, sex, and color. These things have been accused of him in the past. Of course, this is the billionaire heir to Johnson & Johnson, the pharmaceutical fortune. That's an example of someone else that's bid. There hasn't been much talk about him, but for some people, being connected to the Republican Party and Trump, you'll be seen as evil. You'll be seen as racist. You'll be seen as somebody that is morally incapable of becoming the Chelsea owner. And that's to some people. You have the situation with, of course, we've already mentioned the situation with the Ricketts family and some of the heinous things that Ricketts Sr. has said, denouncing Islam as a cult, and much, much more than that. You also have the scenario, even with Nick Candy, the property developer and Chelsea season ticket holder, someone that's fairly popular with a number of Chelsea fans. He is a significant donor of the Conservative Party who attended a fundraising dinner the night that Russia invaded the Ukraine. Now, for many people, they won't see this as a huge problem. Some people won't. Some people will. But the point I'm going to make is this. For some people, being connected to the Conservative Party is evil, is repugnant, is something they don't want. Millions of people in the UK have an absolute hatred of that political party. And I suppose this is my question really for Chelsea fans, because I'm looking to be educated here. How far are you going to push this no to Ricketts? You also have the situation with the potential Saudi owners. Now, it's been well documented that the Saudi owners, at this point, they've said, have no connection to the Saudi government, which is fair. I'm not going to challenge it. I don't know enough about the whole situation to have an opinion. I'm taking their word for this. But then you have to break it down. At the moment, we know that the Saudi media group by itself that turns over £1 billion a year doesn't have the funds to buy Chelsea. It is having to raise that money from private wealth. We don't even know where that private wealth is coming from. It's tipped to come from Saudi Arabia. Where has it come from and who are these people? This is the next revelation to be revealed behind all these consortiums. So even if we say, look, it's fine if you were a Republican, it's fine that you donate to the Conservatives, it's fine that you're from Saudi Arabia, it doesn't matter, as long as you haven't said or done anything. So it's things you've said or done. Well, who are the investors behind these consortiums? This will all slowly start to be revealed. And of course, Chelsea fans are going to want this because Chelsea fans want a moral owner. The question I'm asking, and I'd love your comments on this, is where for you is the cutoff point? You as an individual, where is your cutoff point? Is it the party that you donate money to? Is it the friends that you keep? Is it things that you have said? And then if it is things that you have said, do you draw the line at attacks towards the LGBT community? Is it towards women? Is it religion? Is it race? Is it everything? Where is that cutoff point? Because what I'm going to say to Chelsea fans is this. You won't see this come from me because this isn't how I operate. I don't tend to virtue signal and push the whole whataboutism. It's something I've moved away from for reasons such as this. Because if you're no to Ricketts, but then revelations come out about the 4 people that you're happy to have come in, and there's similar things. A big investor into the Saudi media group is openly spoken about how homosexuality is wrong and should be punished by death. I'm giving you an example here. Somebody connected to the Nick Candy Foundation is someone who stopped funds from going to the Grenfell situation. I'm just making these things up here to give you an examples. Where is that line going to be drawn? And a Chelsea fan's going to have the same energy for all of these owners? Because I can tell you this now, rivals will come. Rivals will knock on that door. Rivals will be saying, well, what about these owners? What about this? What about that? I'm not saying drop the Ricketts campaign. I support it. You look at it and think, do you want a family like that? How likely is it that their father's views have been pushed into his children over the years? There's a possibility. It's not a fact, but there's a possibility. But how far do you push this envelope? And I say that because it is going to be nigh on impossible to have a new owner of Chelsea Football Club via consortiums that are going to be full of multiple people's millions and billions of pounds worth of money to not be politically connected, to not have a history that might have a few sketchy areas in it. Where is the line going to be drawn? Because otherwise, you may find yourselves in a moral position where you can't accept anybody. And that is legit. Where is the cutoff point is what I want to know. But Chelsea fans, of course, taking a stance here, and I think a very respectable stance of wanting moral owners at their football club. They do not want to repeat of what's happened with Roman, where in 3 months, 3 years, 10 years, 30 years, this situation repeats itself. But I just want to know your take and your cutoff point on this. Leave us your comments below. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. It's really important for us to do that. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God